Hey everybody, it is Gabriel and Holly, and we are live. We are, as you saw the title, it says Car Talk. Life in marriage. And I love the little dancing characters I put there and the little love because, it is the season of love and everybody is thinking about Valentine's Day. I know that you would agree with me. Valentine's Day is not a day. Valentine's Day is a lifestyle, and it needs to be lived every day. People are walking by saying hey, but it needs to be every day and lived every day. And whenever anybody says, "Hey, let's talk about marriage," or "Let's talk about life," or "We're going to have a marriage course," or "Hey, at church we're going to have a marriage conference," or whenever you hear the subject of marriage or relationships, most of the time it immediately goes to, oh, there's a whole bunch of stuff we need to fix. We're going to hear a list of things that are going to help me meet your needs, and then you're going to learn how to help me meet my needs. And honestly, we just don't do that. We don't start off every day. We don't even live our lives communing and living life with every conversation being about a checklist or to-do list, a checklist, tasks. Our conversations are not about tasks, to-dos, and checklists. It's not about...
Even though I love those.
She is a checklist person.
Even before doing this video. You guys, I need to have a checklist, bullet points. What are we going to talk about? And of course, my husband just...
I said, I'm going to hit the button and we're going to go live.
Let's just press live. Let's just start talking. So we're just going to talk for a few minutes because that's the difference between he and I respect that about him. He loves things off the cuff, and I am more of a, let's prepare a little bit. Let's have those bullet points he just mentioned.
Well, and the beauty of bullet points is there are times where I know what I want to say, but the bullet points help me make sure other people understand what I'm trying to say. But there's other times where the bullet points create structure that muddies the candor, and you don't have that natural flow that many times happens when you just hit the play button and you go live. So that's what we wanted to talk about for a few minutes, and I think it'll be a real blessing to you. We're going on 18 years.
Yes, next month, 18
Yep, 18 years. And we started off our relationship around the Word, coffee conversations. We would read scriptures together. We would talk about just life, and we would always every night have coffee and talk and just anything and everything. We always made a point to have conversations. And what you find is this: in relationships, there's all of this laundry list of things that seem to pile up over the years between people. And rather than, because you're gonna be married a long time, probably, right? The key is, if everything we talk about is about that pile up of challenges, then the entire relationship is built on and around that. She and I have communication. There's regular fellowship, intimacy in all things. We're always together, always intervening in each other's lives. From the time we wake up in the morning, I mean, she's up at 5:30 and I'm getting up at 5:30 now, and she has her routine that she does, and I have my routine. And when she comes downstairs, we brew that pot of coffee and we talk, and then the kids know to come down and come and talk to us after we've had that conversation. And we just share what's going on, what I just learned in my studies, what she learned, a victory that she had yesterday. Hey, you're not going to believe something. And we're constantly bouncing stuff. So because of the communion, because of the fellowship, because of the intimacy, because of the relationships, the issues of life, we're in agreement, we're in unity. So you just tackle stuff.
Right. And we try to make it where when we have our time together, when we're talking or we have our coffee time, we use that time to just share our hearts with one another. It's not necessarily just, okay, this is the checklist, what all we have to get done today. I mean, we'll get to that. We shelf it until after we've had our time and just share what the Lord is talking to us about, and share some, feelings or whatever we're dealing with. And sometimes that time may be only 10 minutes during the morning, or it might be an hour for that day. It just depends
Right.
on the morning, but we always try to start the day like that. And one thing, about him, when I married this amazing man, I knew
Y'all heard that, right?
I knew I would need to bring something to the table mentally. Like I strive to find things to talk to him about that I know that he would be interested in and want to engage in, or a thought-provoking
You do.
quote or something I read, just try to encourage him during the day. And that's what I try to do, something like that every single day. That's just for him, to encourage him. And of course,
But I didn't say, this is my love language. What's your love language? Okay, so I need you to speak to me in these ways. I need you to give me these specific edifications, because
I
then
just know your mind.
I
know your
Right.
I know your mind, and you love learning, and you love striving for better. And so that's a little contribution that I do for him during the day. And so our coffee time together in the morning, and over the years, sometimes we'll switch and do tea, or we'll say, I'm not drinking coffee for a month, or whatever it is.
And then we wish we didn't say that, and then we're drink double as much. So yeah.
Yeah. So that's like our sacred time. That's our time where we get to know each other.
And we
even
don't-
more as we grow together. And that's the whole thing, where you always want to be growing together individually, and then of course growing together as a couple.
Yeah, and we don't do this with the task in mind of, okay, this is our sacred time, because if we really want to build a strong marriage,
Well, no, it's
then
not like that. It's
right.
a joy.
It's a
joy to come and sit down with you and talk. And
Well, because think about this, and this is a little bit harder of a statement, but over the years, we've seen a lot of, people deal with tough things.
absolutely.
And-
absolutely. We've walked through
Sure, crazy stuff. And we've had people
tons
say,
of crazy stuff.
they say things like, y'all are together all the time? Oh, my spouse would drive me crazy. I could never do that. And then you can see it in their eyes, and they give you this laundry list of how they just have communication because they have to, but they're too busy doing their own stuff. And I can't stand my spouse, basically, they're saying. And the other one will say the same thing, and it would drive me crazy. You guys work together? Oh my God, I would kill. And you hear this stuff, and in my mind, I've had some pretty strong conversations about it, but in my mind, I always think to myself, and I have said this to them, listen, I appreciate what you're saying, but you didn't start off your relationship like that.
Yeah, what happened?
You couldn't keep your hands off each other. You would talk about a pail of rocks,
Yeah.
and you would listen, and the person you love would be just all about rocks in a pail. Wow, even if it was something very, very routine and basic. But so what happened?
Yeah,
what happened was what we're talking about.
Yeah.
You're not investing in watering the ground.
Yes.
And so then life shifts to task-oriented, list-oriented, responsibility-oriented, money-oriented, fear-oriented. And then
list of all the things.
then you're like, you're not meeting my emotional needs, my intimacy needs, my communication needs, my financial needs. And you create these monsters. And then you become enemies.
And then you become enemies, where it's like, okay, because obviously Gabe and I get into some discussions. We call
The kids laugh about it. They go, y'all are
discussions.
funny because you're arguing the same point.
We're arguing the same
Every
point
time,
because
right.
we always have to go back. Okay,
Uh-huh.
wait a second, time out here. We are on the same team.
Yep.
We are on the same team, but I might be arguing it from, I'm dealing with fear in this area, and what you did caused me to react and say something
right.
I shouldn't have, or that fear is coming out of me in a way where I didn't catch it at first.
And my response would
and
be,
his response would
be, look what I did.
yeah,
Aren't you excited and proud? I did it. I did it for us, and and you're not praising that noble action that I just did.
Yeah,
Right. And she
whatever it was.
reacts in fear. I'm like, why would you react like that way? Because for me, the emotional investment is I was proud of it, and little things like that. But guys, what we're saying is you will find that relationships become what? Tasks.
Yeah, and you don't, that's the last thing that you want to have in your marriage is the list and the tasks and that burden, because there's
Burden.
nothing
That's
that,
a good word.
that creates that division more so than that burden. And sometimes you're going to walk it out separately and take that to the Lord and say, I'm dealing with this and I need you to pray for him because he is wrong. He is
well, and
but it's really like, Lord, deal with my heart, deal with what is the root issue of whatever is going on in this. I want to be a loving wife, a supporting wife, a partner in this, because it's my job, not a job. I want to bring 100% to our marriage as much as I possibly can. I mean, that is my goal. That is my prayer, to be that. And I mean, I know I can do that with the Lord's help and the Lord's strength, and I rely on him daily to help me through that and understand you.
Well, and here's the other things. And if there's frustration, here's what always happens. One person rarely goes down a destructive path by themselves. They usually have to have adopters. I'm dealing with a problem now. I don't know what to do about it. So I need to find 4, 5, 6, 10 faithful friends that will be a listening ear that I can yap to. They will agree with me. And then collectively it makes my actions easier because now I've been fortified. And people, you see this all the time in relationships. The wives will complain about the husbands will complain about the wives, to friends, to other people, publicly. And throwing your partner under the bus, that's a death blow. There's a level of trust and there's a level of betrayal. The first place you go is to each other.
Yeah.
If I'm having a hard time, I go to her. I don't talk to a soul about my marital challenges, if I would have any, because I don't have any.
I don't know. I try to give you a hard time every now and then.
Well, she keeps things spicy just to keep me on my toes.
Yeah.
But we would never go to another person, because the problem is they're not invested. There's no covenant with them. When there's a covenant, you would never go to an outside person to come in the middle of the covenant between the two people, just by default. And what you find is it's one of the fastest ways that things spool down, and we see it all the time, is there's an issue because they're not communicating and celebrating and having that regular communion. And so when life happens, it's easy to tackle it in unity. No, they're living task-oriented lives. There's no intimacy, no relationship. And then even those things become very, very ugly. And you have to try to add all kinds of external stuff to try to create any kind of emotional fulfillment there, which that creates a whole nother level of perverseness. And I mean that in a word, because it warps the beauty and the purity of all that. And then you go to outside people for advice or opinions, and then you get agreement with them. And when two agree, it makes it very easy for that person to then act deeper, go farther, react faster, and build their wall against the spouse, when the truth is that this is where the covenant is. And, you know, here we're about to have Valentine's Day, right? Yeah. And I love Valentine's Day because it's a moment in time where people can stop and remember. But you guys know this, Valentine's Day, there's going to be a lot of happy hearts. There's also going to be a lot of hurt hearts. There's going to be a lot of happy people that are celebrating another wonderful year. There's going to be a lot of people that are checking off the emotional list and connecting with people in a not good way. And they're going to be let down. They're going to be hurt from it. And, you know, when it comes to one day a year cannot make up for 364 other days where there's no communion.
Right.
Like, here's a box of candy, roses, and a teddy bear, right? Which I've actually never done that. Thank goodness. And that, it's not bad. People do it, but there's and I don't do that to because I have to. Oh, and if I don't, she's going to freak out.
No.
Are you kidding me? We don't even go out on Valentine's Day. We pick another day, usually several days before or several days after, just to avoid the crazy. But we're doing stuff together all the time. So even those moments are not, your relationship doesn't live or die based upon a Valentine's Day, right?
Totally. Absolutely. I totally agree.
You totally agree.
Totally agree.
I planned a little date for us the other day, and I told her, I said, okay, I know you, so I'm going to give you a few days.
Yes.
To just because I know
I'm
you're
a planner.
Because I know you're going to want to plan, what you're going to wear,
Yes.
and we're going to check
indoors or outdoors.
we're going to check the weather and all that. So I told her last night where we were going, and the kids were like, we got it, and they all just chimed in automatically. We got it. We got the little one. No problem. Mom, Dad, have fun. That's going to be awesome. And, because I know if I told her the day of, hey, get ready, we're going somewhere, because I wanted to surprise her, it's just not, she just doesn't react well that way. And our Valentine's, if you guys want to know, is a time of discovery. We are going to go somewhere and have a culinary discovery.
Yes.
We are going to have we're going to go to a particular place, and we're going to get a tour and learn. Yes. and spend several hours exploring, and so that Valentine's Day is an experience and it's a moment.
Yeah, I'm so excited, and I can't wait. But as you were talking about this and the Valentine's and all that, I was thinking, even though we've had our challenges and things we've had to walk through and are still walking through in our marriage, but isn't it a blessing? Isn't it a blessing to have a buddy to walk through that?
Oh, wow.
To walk through that with. And
that's a great way to put it.
even we get upset with each other or mad with each other, it is still a blessing to have a buddy to walk through whatever circumstance it is. And in marriage, I think sometimes we lose sight of that friendship, even in marriage, just the pure friendship. And it's so important.
I think that's the greatest gift of marriage, actually, is to find the person.
Yes.
Well, even my little one, she's 6, and we were talking. We were in the kitchen, and I said, "Thank you so much." And I came over and I gave Holly a hug, a big one with lots of squeezes and embraces, and kind of a little dynamic. And our little one, she sits at the big bar area there in the kitchen, and she just goes like this. Y'all love each other so much.
Yes, she says.
She goes, "It's so amazing. You little lovey birds." And she does that whole thing. I said, "Well, are you going to find a prince that does the same thing and he's like Papa?" And she goes, "No, I'm actually going to let God choose who it is." She goes, "Because he can pick it out better than I can." I thought, wow.
Yeah.
Even if that was the only thing that child had imprinted on her heart, think of the pain, think of the challenges, think of the trial and error, think of just the messes that we all make in life by being hurt, needy, or in love with love, or the concept, or the idea, or there's a moment, or there's a person, or I might as well's, or whatever it is. And what we end up settling for and choosing all too often. And I just love that she thinks that way now.
Yeah, I totally do too. I love that. And we pray for our kids' future spouses.
That's a big one.
Yeah, we definitely.
And they've given us veto power. No,
Yeah. But anyway, guys, so we just wanted to share a little bit what was on our hearts today, and especially we've just been talking about Valentine's Day and marriage over the past few days. So we wanted to hop on.
Yeah, and just some final.
We want to talk more about marriage and life
well, even how to raise kids and what we. Another thing. Okay, since we're live and you guys can turn on or turn off, right? You can continue watching it. But even with our children, I was going to cut it off, but I have a couple more thoughts. Even with our children, we invite them to be a part of all conversations.
We do.
They're a part of everything.
We do.
Nothing is unmentionable. We discuss everything openly with them. Yeah. Even when they were all little, I pulled them aside when they were small, and I said, "Hey guys, I want to go ahead and tell you about everything, about how mommy and daddy loved each other so much that you guys came. And I explained it in unbelievable detail. The emotion, the biology, how God planned it, the science of it, everything. And my oldest he goes, man, I remember we went to, I think we were at a hotel or something, and we were sitting down where you could have breakfast in the mornings and they cook your breakfast. So we were down in the lobby, and he goes, man, yeah, we were traveling. And he said, God loves us that much. He says, that is such, and he was so in awe by it that he saw the wonder of it, not the, I don't want to have that conversation. And he didn't have some little buddy telling him, and he didn't have to watch it on some crazy little social media video. And he didn't have to learn it from something ugly or through brokenness or through violation or through trial and error or whatever. He got or from some crazy teacher or book or whatever, or, he heard it from me, and he sees it with us. So he sees the beauty of it, not the taboo of it, or the sin of it, or the lust of it that drives that so ugly. And I did with all of them. And not Addie, she's 6, but she's starting to put 2 and 2 together. Even today, she says, "Okay, so you and mommy." Okay, she goes, "No, hold on. So I'm married. Okay, so I'm married, and then she goes, then the baby starts growing in my belly, right?" And so she's already starting to put 2 and 2 together, and so those conversations will happen. Cute. And I just want you to go, nothing is, if you've made covenant with somebody, you're married to somebody, you have a relationship with somebody, it should be the safest place in the world.
Yeah, and sometimes that, when you're in anger or you're in fear or you're fighting with your spouse, it's hard to sometimes remember, wait a second, my husband, my spouse, my wife, that is my safe place. That is my safe haven. And that is who I can go to share this with. Obviously, you go to the Lord, and you go to your spouse.
And if you can't, it's because the relationship is so calloused over, because it's been built on
little by little, the walls get built up, and sometimes it takes a lot of work to smash down some of those
the energy
bricks, but it's possible. So many, God has restored so many marriages. And the funny thing is, if you can, many times you surrender and say, I give it to you, and you really do that, he can break a yoke, he can snap it, and it's not this months and years of pain and let me dig deep into the wounds of my childhood. Let me dig deep. And you go through this whole thing where you lay out just issue after issue after issue. And back in 2018, you said something on the 3rd Thursday of the month, and that put a wound in me, and which triggered something when I was a kid. And then when I was... Yeah, and I try to say things as they come up. That is another thing that we do. If something pops up that is...
Right.
It just didn't set well with me, or what did you mean by that? I try really hard to bring it up at that moment.
Well, like the other day. The other day, I was gonna. Well, and I'll say this. So
what about the other day?
Yeah, the other day. So the safest place in the world should be for your spouse. Should be the safest place in the world.
Yeah.
How many times have I broken down and wept?
Oh yeah.
And she was there for me.
Absolutely.
Just moments I had personal victories, things that hurt, disappointments in life. She's done the same thing. How many times have you been there where you've wept and you're just there? So that's the safest place, because if that's not the safest place, my God, I don't know where else is a better alternative. I'll tell you what, because nothing else is going to be that safe, because nothing else is invested like that.
Right.
Second of all, so the other day I had created a video, right? You guys know I'm always doing teachings and trainings and writings and courses and stuff. And so I did this, I did a video, and I was so proud of it. I came in the house, I was incredibly proud of it. Thought it was amazing, and it was amazing.
And it is.
And it is amazing. Thank you for saying that. And I even let my son listen to it, and he was, Dad, that's incredible. And so I was trying to get the title worked out. So I was playing my phone and putting the audio up to my speaker on the computer. And there was some phrases said in the video, she pops up out of the pantry and goes, "You're going to say that?" And then started telling me all the reasons why it was a bad idea. And I said, no, you didn't hear the rest of it. You got to hear it in context. And I don't want to hear it.
I said, no.
I don't want to hear it. If that's what you're saying. I said, no, you don't get it. And so then I'm like, oh my gosh. And I felt almost the anger button. It's not anger. It's like, my thought is, how on earth am I going to go back out? This is the truth. Under my reaction was, how on earth am I going to go back out? And I can cut videos all day long.
Yeah.
But how am I going to go back out and replicate what I just said? One take, first take on that video.
Yeah.
And then I said, okay. And she said, listen, just double check your heart.
Yes, double check your heart. Make sure that's how you want to say it, because even though the words are fine, but it's how you say the words sometimes. And we try to double check each other on that as much as humanly possible. And I just said, you know what? You just listen to it again, get quiet, pray about it, and see if that's how you want to deliver it. Because I mean, he is amazing off the cuff, and he can say just these things. But sometimes, you know, you're talking and it might not come. I just say I don't want it to be misconstrued.
Right.
Your heart. I don't want your heart.
She
to be
says you don't want to
misconstrued.
talk like that or be like one of the statements or
Yeah.
stuff that we
Because
make.
he's bold. My man is bold, and I admire him about that. I'm getting there.
Well, and it's not bold in the fact that I have opinions and I want to say them. It's bold in the fact that I want to speak truth to the point where you care enough to love somebody enough to speak the truth.
Yeah.
And if you don't love somebody enough to speak the truth, then, so anyways, she loved me enough to speak the truth.
I had to speak it.
And so I went, ooh, so I grabbed my little computer and I walked into the front room and I sat down in her office and I'm listening to it again. I said, I'm going to go in the other room and I'm going to play it with headphones so you can't hear the rest of it. And so I played it. Yeah. I played the two parts, and it was literally 15 seconds and 8 seconds.
Yeah.
Okay? A 19-minute video. And I said, you know what? I can do a quick edit and splice that out because actually the thought is clearer. So when it was done, I'm airdropping it to my son. I make him do all my edits. He's doing it. He goes, check it now. I said, well, that's fantastic. It's super smooth. And I said, hey, honey, I said, you were right on. That was dead right. The thought was clear. It was unnecessary. It was not ideal to say that. Thank you very, very much.
Yeah.
And it was just a victory because think about it. Well,
yeah, you just don't want
you don't know what I'm. Well,
I
that's
wish in real
stupid.
life.
Well, no, that's stupid, and you're stupid, and everything's stupid, and well, I don't like you. Well, I don't like anything about you. Well, that's, you know, and people will take something like that and go to the bank with it. It's terrible.
They totally would it, and so it was good because you listened to what I was trying to say in a very kind way, and you didn't.
Yeah, she popped out and said, "That's the stupidest thing I ever heard. And that video is worthless. I wouldn't put that out and I wouldn't feed that to a dog or you know, or something like that."
But it's funny with
she
words.
didn't.
This reminds me of
like
the other day. Well, a few weeks ago, it was January. We were making with the kids with homeschool. We were making snowflakes. I was showing them how to do, you know, the coffee filters, and you cut it and you do the snowflakes. So I was doing it with Adeline, and and then Hudson comes in. He wants to do a snowflake too. So they're cutting snowflakes. Addie brings me a snowflake, and she says, and we had already done about half a dozen already with the snowflakes, and then she brings in the last snowflake that she cut all by herself, and it looked like, let's just say it didn't look like a snowflake anymore. It was kind of shredded. And she said, well, what do you think about this one? Can we hang this one up? And because what I had done in the living room is I put their little snowflakes in the living room window. Because
it had been snowing.
Because it had been snowing, and it was super cute. We did snowflakes. So anyway, so I taped them up, and she said, can we tape up this one? I was like, oh, well, baby, I said, why don't we try that again? Well, what she walked off saying to her brother is, Mommy said my snowflake was horrible. Right. But I didn't say it was horrible. I just said, maybe we should do another one. So it's just amazing. I mean, we just have to be careful.
And kids start to process
How
that
you-
kind of thinking young. So imagine adults that are
adults
experts
that are experts
at
and
not saying or receiving.
hearing,
Right.
receiving. That's what I'm saying. You have to practice receiving what was said and all that. I don't know how I got on that, but anyway.
So when it comes to
talking.
so when it comes to marriage and when it comes to
So when it comes to-
relationships,
when it comes, it's communication and
everything in life is easy. Can I say it like that? I just want to say it like that because that's it. It's easy. Anything is tackleable. If that's a word. Tackleable.
Is that a
No.
Is that
I don't think it's a word, but it sounded good for
Okay.
what the
Let's
point
ask
I'm
you.
making.
No, I like it. I like that word.
Everything is conquerable
Conquerable.
if there's unity and communion and
Yes.
communication. That makes everything else never an issue. So our life is not issue oriented. We're not trying to fix problems. Does that make sense? We're not fixing problems all the time because we don't see. People think that, oh, if we could just fix all of our problems, then we would have a good relationship.
Yeah.
That's not true.
It's
If you have
not.
a good
Because it's life.
relationship,
You're always going to have challenges.
problems
It's
can be
life.
stomped on.
Yeah.
Yep, easily. You can
Stomp
hurdle
on 'em
right
and
over
you
them.
Stomp on them
Together. Right.
High five.
That's right. Unity.
So,
All right.
so yes.
Yeah.
Anyway, I've got to go. I've got to go in here. It's 3:30, babe. We talked way longer than I thought we were going to talk.
Yeah. See, we just
That's
push
okay.
play, and
See, we're overly communicating.
we're gonna do a lot of this. You know why?
Yeah, because it's fun and we need to.
It's Sedlakpack. Never miss a moment.
Yes.
You guys know I didn't pray all the years I did to meet somebody like this to be away from her, and you guys have heard me say things
Tackleable
like
is a word. Thank you,
tackleable
Sarah.
is a word.
Thanks, Sarah.
Yay.
Sometimes in our house we do make up words, and we love it. We love made up words. They're so fun. We have all of our little fun inside words. But anyway,
You guys,
Well,
love
gonna
is
skip-
real. Relationships
Yes.
can be great. Anything can be redeemed. Anything can be restored. Anything can start off right. You can splice the tape. You can
Yes.
extend forgiveness.
Extend
You can
it.
wake up the next day and there's a new grace and a new mercy. You
Yes.
don't have to be buried by the misunderstanding and the words of yesterday.
yes.
And then
Yeah.
to go a little bit deeper for 5 more seconds, then the real communion, the real fellowship in marriage
Yeah.
is beautiful.
Yes.
The levels
It's a
of
celebration.
it's a celebration because you know the person.
Yeah.
It's not static. It's not like
Robotic.
two 2x4s whacking each other, and it is a beautiful and lovely thing, and I don't want you guys to miss out on how incredible it can be when there's community.
Yeah. Community.
Communion.
And communion.
Yeah.
Yes.
We've said
and
it.
we work on it every single day.
But we don't try to work on it. We just by default.
By default,
Right.
we work on it. Everybody's got you work on it. You water your own grass, right?
And that's why when people say, Gabriel, I met your wife, and when Holly walked in the room, she lit up the entire place. I met your wife and she's just beaming.
Baby,
I know you gotta
she's
go.
Out. You finish up.
It's
I'll be
because
right back.
okay.
Okay.
It's the greatest compliment in the world, actually, I think. The greatest people, if somebody would ask me what's the greatest, let me shut this, hold on. If somebody would ask me what the greatest compliment that I could ever be given is, it is when somebody compliments her and says that she beams and shines, because I know that home is good, our marriage is good, she's fulfilled as a woman, as a person. She gets to dream and express dreams with me, and I get to share my dreams and my ambitions. And if I have a huge goal and something super ambitious that I want to tackle, she doesn't tell me all the reasons I can't. When she says, you know what, you're gonna get a brand new wife, and she just reinvents herself. And the kids and I get to watch her transform. And every day there's these Herculean moves that she does on a personal level for herself, and in mindset, and in thinking, and in behavior, and all these things. And and you rejoice in that. There's just nothing better than to watch your spouse shine, and she's just a new person over and over and over again. And I guess the word is proud. I'm proud of that, because she's loved and it's safe and she can be all she wants to be, and that brings tremendous joy. She'll even say, well, what do you want? What do you need? And I'm always talking about some usually business goals and life goals and spiritual goals and places we can, things we can get. But I just say, the one of the big things for me is I get tremendous joy watching you smile. If you just smile every day at me, and I see joy in your eyes and joy on your countenance, that is like it's like I won an award every single day of my life. And then it's like steel infuses in my spine, and I can go tackle and take over the world. It's crazy. Guys, this stuff is not as hard as we make it out to be, all right? So we hope that this has been an encouragement to you. And we will see you on the next video. And I could keep talking because I've got about 50 other things to say, but I will cut it off. All right, blessings, y'all. Bye.